Captain Jake Martinez sat in his command chair watching the stars through the main screen. The UNS Discovery had been traveling for 3 weeks now, mapping new space near the Vega system. It was supposed to be a quiet mission. Jake liked quiet missions, especially when his 7-year-old daughter Emma was aboard with the other colony families. The Discovery was not just an exploration ship. It carried 12 families with 23 children, from babies to teenagers. They were heading to establish a new colony on a planet called Haven 7. Jake had brought his family because the journey would take 2 years, and he did not want to be away from Emma and his wife Maria for so long. "Captain, I'm getting some strange readings," said Lieutenant Commander Ryan Burke from the tactical station. His voice was calm, but Jake could hear concern in it. Ryan had been with him for 5 years and rarely got worried about sensor readings. "What kind of readings?" Jake asked, turning his chair toward Ryan. "2 massive fleets, sir. They're about 4 light hours away and they appear to be fighting each other." Jake frowned. They were in unexplored space, far from any known alien territories. "How massive are we talking about?" "Each fleet has over 200 ships, Captain. Some of them are bigger than anything in our databases." Communications Officer Lisa Thompson looked up from her station. "Captain, I'm picking up energy signatures that match 2 species from our files, the crystalline Zephyrians and the biomechanical Karathi." Jake knew those names. Both species were mentioned in intelligence reports as dangerous and hostile to outsiders. They had been fighting each other for over 300 years. The fact that they were here this far from their known territories was troubling. "Distance to the battle?" Jake asked. 4 hours at current speed," Ryan replied. "Change course, take us around them. We don't want any part of their war." "Yes, sir," said the helmsman, Ensign Tony Rodriguez. Jake relaxed slightly. They would avoid the battle and continue their mission. He thought about Emma, who was probably in the ship's school with the other children right now. She loved learning about space and always asked him questions about the stars and planets they passed. 20 minutes later, Ryan's voice cut through the bridge's quiet hum. "Captain, both fleets have stopped fighting." "Stopped?" Jake turned back to the tactical station. "Yes, sir, all weapons fire has ceased. They're both turning toward us." Jake felt cold fear run down his spine. "Are you sure?" "Positive, Captain. Both fleets are changing course to intercept us." Lisa suddenly looked up from her communications panel, her face pale. "Captain, I'm receiving transmissions between the 2 fleets. They're talking to each other. Enemies. Don't usually talk during battle," said Commander Amy Foster, the ship's executive officer. She had just arrived on the bridge. "What are they saying?" Jake asked Lisa. Lisa pressed her earpiece closer and listened carefully. "Sir, they're using some kind of universal translation system. I can understand parts of it. They keep mentioning something about young ones and small humans." Jake's blood turned to ice. "They know about the children?" "It appears so, sir. They seem very concerned about them." Dr. Patricia Wells entered the bridge from the science section. She was the ship's chief medical officer and also their xenobiologist. "Captain, I've been monitoring our long-range sensors. Both alien fleets are scanning us with some kind of biological sensor. They're not looking for weapons or technology. They're scanning for life signs." "Specifically for what kind of life signs?" Amy asked. "Young human life signs, Commander. They can detect the children aboard our ship." Jake stood up from his command chair. This was not possible. How could alien species they had never met before know about human children? And why would they care? "Captain," Ryan called out. "Both fleets are moving to surround us, but sir, their weapons are powered down." "Powered down?" Jake looked at the tactical display. 2 massive alien fleets were converging on his small exploration ship, but they were not preparing to attack. "Yes, sir. If they wanted to destroy us, we would already be dead. They have enough firepower to turn us into dust in seconds." Lisa raised her hand. "Captain, we're being hailed. Both fleets are trying to communicate with us." Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. This was unlike anything in the first contact. Protocols. "Put them through." The main screen split into 2 sections. On the left appeared what looked like a creature made of living crystal, tall and shimmering with internal light. On the right was something that appeared to be part machine and part organic tissue, with glowing tubes and mechanical parts visible under translucent skin. Both aliens spoke at the same time, their voices overlapping through the translation system. Human. Vessel, said the crystal being, its voice like musical chimes. Why do you carry young ones into danger? Small humans detected, said the biomechanical creature, its voice a mixture of organic sounds and electronic tones. This is not safe for developing beings. Jake looked at Amy, who shrugged. She had no idea how to respond either. I am Captain Jake Martinez of the United Nations Ship Discovery, Jake said carefully. We are on a peaceful exploration mission. Peaceful mission with offspring? The crystal being asked, and Jake could hear what sounded like shock in its translated voice. Your young ones should be protected, not brought into unknown space. How many small humans? Asked the biomechanical creature. What are their ages? Are they receiving proper nutrition and mental stimulation? Dr. Wells stepped forward. Captain, I think they're genuinely concerned about the children's welfare. Jake made a decision that would change everything. We have 23 children, aboard ranging from 6 months to 16 years old. They are all healthy and safe. Both aliens reacted immediately. The crystal being's internal light flashed brighter, and the biomechanical creature's tubes pulsed faster. 23 young ones in space, the crystal being said, and its voice carried what could only be described as horror. This is unprecedented. Why are they not safely on your homeworld? We are traveling to establish a colony, Jake explained. The journey takes 2 years. The families chose to stay together rather than be separated. 2 years, repeated the biomechanical creature. 2 years of development in space environment. This requires immediate assessment. Before Jake could respond, both aliens ended the communication. The screen went back to showing the surrounding space, now filled with hundreds of alien ships from 2 different species. Captain, Lisa said, her voice amazed. I'm receiving new transmissions. They're sending us something. What kind of something? Amy asked. Environmental suits, sir, child-sized environmental suits. The crystalline species is beaming them directly to our cargo bay. Ryan looked up from his station. Captain, the biomechanical ships are transmitting detailed scans of our life support systems. It looks like they're checking to make sure our air, water, and food are suitable for human children. Jake sat back down in his command chair. This was the strangest first contact in human history. 2 enemy alien species had stopped their war, surrounded his ship, and were now apparently trying to take care of his crew's children. Sir, Tony called from the helm. I'm detecting more ships approaching. Long-range sensors show at least 6 different alien signatures heading toward our position. More species? Jake asked. Yes, sir. And Captain, they're all coming fast. Jake looked at the tactical display showing the growing number of alien ships around them. None of them had fired a single weapon. They all seemed focused on one thing: the human children aboard the Discovery. He pressed the comm button on his chair. This is the captain. All families with children, please report to the main conference room immediately. We need to talk. As Jake prepared to leave the bridge, he wondered what they had stumbled into. Why did alien species care so much about human children? And what did this mean for the future of their mission? Emma would probably think this was the most exciting thing ever. She loved meeting new people, even if these new people happened to be aliens from across the galaxy. The main conference room filled quickly with worried parents and curious children. Jake watched as families gathered around the large table, children climbing into chairs beside their mothers and fathers. Emma sat next to her mother Maria, swinging her legs and looking excited rather than frightened. Science Officer Daniel Craig entered with a tablet full of sensor readings. He looked confused and amazed at the same time. Dr. Kevin Shaw, the ship's psychologist, followed close behind. Both men had been working since the first alien contact to understand what was happening. Everyone please sit down, Jake said, standing at the head of the table. I know you all have questions about the alien ships outside. We're going to explain everything we know. 10-year-old Ben Cooper raised his hand. Captain Martinez, are the aliens going to hurt us? Jake smiled at the boy. No, Ben. Actually, they seem very worried about keeping you safe. Safe from what? Asked 16-year-old Nicole Davis, the oldest of the children aboard. Commander Amy Foster stepped forward. That's what we're trying to figure out. Daniel, tell them what you've learned. Daniel cleared his throat and looked at his tablet. The two alien species surrounding us are called the Zephyrians and the Karathi. They've been enemies for over 300 years. They fight each other wherever they meet in space. But they stopped fighting when they found us? Asked Maria Martinez. Yes, Daniel replied. The moment they detected our ship, both fleets ceased all combat operations and turned their attention to us. More specifically, they turned their attention to the children. 8-year-old Sophie Williams looked up at her father. Dad, why do they care about us kids? Engineer Sam Johnson, Sophie's father, looked at Jake for permission to speak. Jake nodded. We don't know yet, sweetheart, Sam said, but they seem to think children shouldn't be traveling in space. Dr. Patricia Wells stood up from her seat. Actually, we've learned a bit more than that. I've been analyzing their communications and behavior patterns. Both species appear to have strong protective instincts toward what they call developing beings or young ones. Protective how? Asked Rachel Cooper, Ben's mother. They've been continuously scanning our life support systems, Patricia explained. They want to make sure you're all getting proper nutrition, clean air, and safe living conditions. The Zephyrians sent us environmental suits designed specifically for human children. The Karathi transmitted medical data about optimal growth conditions for young humans. 12-year-old Alex Turner looked amazed. They made stuff just for us, but they don't even know us. That's the strange part, said Dr. Shaw, the psychologist. Most species in the galaxy don't pay attention to other species' children, but these aliens seem to consider human children extremely important. Communications officer Lisa Thompson entered the room carrying a small device. Captain, you need to hear this. I've been recording their conversations, and the translation system is getting better at understanding them. Lisa activated the device. Strange voices filled the room, some sounding like music and others like mechanical whispers. The translation system converted their words into English. The young ones show curiosity patterns unlike any we have observed, said one voice. Their brain development continues at accelerated rates. They maintain wonder states far longer than other species, said another. This is unprecedented. Young beings who do not lose their exploration drives after maturation preparation. The recording stopped. The room was quiet for a moment. What does that mean? Asked 14-year-old Carlos Mendez. Daniel looked at his notes. Near as we can tell, most alien species lose their sense of curiosity and wonder when they grow up. But human children seem to keep that sense of wonder much longer, maybe even into adulthood. Emma raised her small hand. Can I talk to them? The aliens? Jake looked at Dr. Shaw, who nodded slowly. It might actually help us understand what they want. Emma, what would you like to say to them? Jake asked his daughter. I want to ask them about their spaceships. They look really cool, and I want to know how they work. Amy smiled. That's very typical of you, Emma. Jake activated his communicator. Bridge, this is the captain. Can you establish communication with the alien fleets? Yes, sir, came Ryan's voice. Both species are standing by. Put them through to the conference room. The wall screen activated, showing the same two alien representatives from before. The crystal being seemed to shimmer with brighter light when it saw the children in the room. The biomechanical creature's tubes pulsed faster. Young ones, said the crystal being, its musical voice filled with what sounded like joy. You are well? Emma stood up on her chair. Hi, I'm Emma. Your spaceship is really pretty. How does it work? Both aliens seemed to pause, as if Emma's simple question had surprised them. You wish to understand our technology? Asked the biomechanical creature. Yeah. Do you use crystals to make it fly? And does it hurt to be part machine? The biomechanical creature made a sound that the translator couldn't convert, but it sounded almost like laughter. Small human Emma, I am not harmed by my mechanical parts. They help me live and work. And yes, our Zephyrian friends use crystal harmonics for their propulsion. The crystal being's light pulsed gently. Emma, young one, your questions bring us joy. Most beings stop asking such questions when they mature. Ben Cooper stood up next to Emma. I have questions too. How many different planets have you seen? Do you have kids like us? The two aliens exchanged what might have been glances. We have seen many worlds, Ben, young one, said the crystal being. But our species do not produce offspring like humans. Our young lose their question-making abilities very quickly. That's sad, said Sophie Williams. Questions are fun. Yes, agreed the biomechanical creature. Questions are fun. We had forgotten this concept. Dr. Shaw leaned forward with interest. How long do your young retain their curiosity? Zephyrian young ask questions for perhaps 50 of your days after formation, replied the crystal being. Then they become focused on specific tasks and never question again. Korathi young question for even less time, added the biomechanical creature. Perhaps 20 of your days. After that, they join the collective mind and individual curiosity ends. The children looked sad at this news. That's terrible, said Nicole Davis. I'm 16 and I still have millions of questions about everything. Both aliens seemed to react strongly to this statement. 16 cycles and still questioning? Asked the crystal being. This is remarkable. Carlos Mendez raised his hand. I'm 14 and I want to be a scientist so I can answer questions about space and planets and stuff. 14 cycles with planned future questioning, whispered the biomechanical creature. Unprecedented. Dr. Patricia Wells realized something important. Captain, I think we're beginning to understand. Human children maintain their sense of wonder and curiosity far longer than any other known species. To these aliens, that makes our children incredibly special. Special how? Asked Maria Martinez. Before anyone could answer, Lisa's communicator beeped. She listened for a moment, then looked up with wide eyes. Captain, we have a problem. Long-range sensors are detecting more alien ships approaching our position. Lots more. At least 12 different species, and they're all heading straight for us. Jake felt his stomach drop. Hostile? Unknown, sir. But they're coming fast, and they're coming from all directions. Amy stood up quickly. We need to get back to the bridge. Families, please stay here until we understand what's happening. As the senior officers started to leave, Emma called out, Captain Daddy, are the new aliens coming to see us too? Jake paused at the door. Through the wall screen, he could see both alien representatives nodding. Yes, Emma, young one, said the crystal being. Word of human young ones has spread across many star systems. Others come to witness this wonder. Witness what wonder? Jake asked. The biomechanical creature's tubes pulsed slowly. Captain, father of Emma, your species carries something the galaxy believed was lost forever. Your young ones maintain the ability to see possibilities where others see only limitations. They ask questions that lead to new understanding. This is more precious than any technology or weapon. Jake felt a chill run through him. If human children were really that special to these aliens, what would happen when word spread further? How many species would come looking for them? And more importantly, would they all come with peaceful intentions? Jake rushed back to the bridge with Amy and the other officers. Through the main screen, he could see dozens of new ships appearing in the distance. Each one looked different from the others, representing alien species he had never seen before. Report, Jake ordered as he took his command chair. Ryan looked up from the tactical station, his face showing amazement. Captain, we now have ships from 12 different alien species surrounding us. The strange thing is, they're all maintaining peaceful positions. No weapons are charged, and they're keeping respectful distances from each other. Respectful distances? Amy asked. Yes, Commander, some of these species are known enemies. The insect-like Hivari just arrived, and they positioned themselves directly across from the gas-based Nephrim. Those two species have been at war for decades, but they're not fighting. They're just watching us. Lisa looked up from her communications station. Captain, I'm receiving hundreds of transmissions. Every species wants to communicate with us, but they're all asking the same questions. They want to know about the children. Chief Engineer Sam Johnson entered the bridge, wiping his hands on a towel. "Captain, you need to know what's happening in engineering. These alien ships keep sending us things." "What kind of things?" Jake asked. "Better life support systems, improved food processors, educational materials, toys, games. They're all designed for human children. My cargo bays are filling up with gifts." Dr. Patricia Wells came onto the bridge carrying a tablet full of data. "Captain, I've been analyzing the behavior patterns of all these species. This is unprecedented in galactic history. Natural enemies are working together, sharing space peacefully, all because of our children." "Why?" Jake asked. "What makes human children so special that entire civilizations would stop their wars?" "I think I'm beginning to understand," Patricia said. "I've been studying the communication patterns and the gifts they're sending. Every species seems to have lost something that human children still possess." Before Jake could ask more questions, the main screen activated. This time, instead of 2 aliens, there were 6 different faces looking back at them. Jake recognized the crystal Zephyrian and the biomechanical Karathi, but the others were completely new. One looked like a giant insect with multiple eyes and clicking mandibles. Another appeared to be made of swirling gas with glowing points of light. A third seemed to be constructed entirely of metal and circuits, while a fourth looked like pure energy, contained in a humanoid shape. "Human Captain," said the crystal Zephyrian, "we must speak with you about the young ones." More specifically, added a new voice that sounded like grinding metal, "we must explain why we are all here." Jake straightened in his chair. "I'm listening." The Pturu energy being spoke next, its voice like crackling electricity. "Captain Martinez, your species possesses something that we believed was extinct in the universe. Your young ones maintain what we call the spark of infinite possibility." "I don't understand," Jake replied. The insect-like creature clicked its mandibles before speaking. "When Hivari young emerge from their eggs, they ask questions for exactly 7 days. Then their minds lock into predetermined patterns. They become workers, warriors, or thinkers, and they never wonder about anything else again." The gas being's voice was like wind through canyons. "Nephrim young question existence for perhaps 10 of your days. After that, they join the collective. Consciousness and individual thought ends." The metal creature's voice was cold and mechanical. "Construct beings are programmed at creation. We never experience wonder or curiosity at all. We simply follow our programming." Jake felt a chill as he began to understand. "You're saying that human children are different because they keep asking questions and wondering about things as they grow up?" "Not just as they grow," said the biomechanical Karathi. "Your data suggests human beings can maintain curiosity and wonder throughout their entire lives. This is unheard of in the galaxy." Amy stepped forward. "But why does that matter so much to all of you?" The crystal Zephyrian's light pulsed slowly. "Commander Foster, imagine living for thousands of years with no new thoughts, no questions, no sense of wonder about the universe around you. Imagine knowing that every day will be exactly like the day before, with no possibility of seeing something in a new way." "That sounds terrible," Amy said quietly. "It is terrible," agreed the energy being. "We have watched civilizations rise and fall, seen amazing things across the galaxy, but we cannot feel amazement. We cannot wonder what might be possible. We can only observe and catalog." Dr. Patricia Wells spoke up from her station. "Are you saying that human children represent hope for you somehow?" "More than hope," said the gas being. "They represent proof that wonder can exist. When we observe your young ones asking questions and imagining possibilities, we remember what we have, Ost." The metal construct made a sound like grinding gears. "We came here not to take anything from you, but to protect something precious. Your children's ability to wonder and question must be preserved." Jake's communicator beeped. Tony Rodriguez's voice came through from the helm station. "Captain, more ships are arriving. I count at least 20 new signatures and they're still coming." Through the main screen, Jake could see the space around the Discovery becoming crowded with ships of every size and shape imaginable. Some looked like living creatures, others like geometric crystals or flowing liquid metal. "How many species are out there now?" Jake asked Ryan. 37 different signatures, Captain. And sir, some of these species have never been seen working together before. The observers and the watchers are both here, and they've been neutral in all galactic conflicts for centuries. Lisa raised her hand. "Captain, I'm getting a priority transmission from something called the Ancient One. The signal is coming from the largest ship in the fleet." "Put it through," Jake ordered. The screen changed to show something that looked impossibly old. It was tall and thin, with skin like ancient parchment and eyes that seemed to hold the knowledge of millennia. When it spoke, its voice was like whispers from the beginning of time. "Captain Martinez," the Ancient One said slowly, "I have traveled from the far edge of the galaxy to see the human young ones. I am the oldest consciousness in known space, and I have never encountered beings like your children." "What makes them so different?" Jake asked. "I have lived for 50,000 of your years," the Ancient One replied. "I have seen species rise to great heights and fall to dust. I have watched the birth and death of stars, but I have not felt wonder in 40,000 years. Today, listening to your daughter Emma ask simple questions about crystal propulsion, I felt something I thought was dead forever." Jake heard Amy gasp softly beside him. "Your children," the Ancient One continued, "do not just maintain curiosity, they share it. When they wonder about something, those around them begin to wonder too. They have awakened something in all of us that we had forgotten existed." Dr. Kevin Shaw entered the bridge at that moment. "Captain, I need to tell you something important. I've been monitoring the children's reactions to all this attention. They're not afraid. If anything, they're more curious and excited than ever. Emma has been asking if she can visit the alien ships. Ben wants to learn alien languages. Sophie is drawing pictures of all the different species." The Ancient One's ancient face seemed to smile. "This is exactly what makes them so precious. Fear does not stop their wonder. Danger does not end their questions. They see the unknown and want to explore it." "But sir," Tony called from the helm, "I'm detecting something else on long-range sensors. A different kind of fleet approaching from the outer system. These ships don't match any known friendly species." Ryan's voice was tense. "Captain, the new fleet's energy signatures match reports of the Devourers. And sir, they're approaching at attack speed." The Ancient One's expression changed immediately. "Captain, you must understand. The Devourers have heard about your children. They do not come to protect. They come to consume." "Consume what?" Jake asked, though he feared he already knew the answer. "They feed on the life essence of other beings," the Ancient One explained. "But more than that, they consume special qualities. If they take your children's sense of wonder and curiosity, those gifts will be lost forever." Around the Discovery, Jake could see the peaceful alien ships beginning to move into new formations. Ships that had been enemies for centuries were now positioning themselves side by side. "Captain," the Crystal Zephyrian said, its voice now urgent, "we cannot allow the Devourers to reach your young ones. What your children possess is too precious to lose." The biomechanical Karathi added, "We will protect them. All of us will protect them." Jake looked at the tactical display showing hundreds of alien ships forming a protective barrier around his small exploration vessel. Natural enemies were preparing to fight together for the first time in galactic history, and at the center of it all were 23 human children who simply wanted to learn about the universe around them. The Devourer fleet appeared on the main screen like a dark cloud spreading across space. Their ships were black and twisted, looking more like diseased creatures than vessels. Jake counted at least 50 of them, each one larger than the Discovery. "Captain," Ryan called from Tactical, "the Devourer ships are powering weapons. They'll be in firing range in 12 minutes. Jake activated the ship-wide communication system. "All families, please gather in the central safe room immediately. This is not a drill." He turned to Amy. "Get down there and help organize the families. Make sure the children stay calm." "Sir, shouldn't I remain on the bridge?" Amy asked. "I need you with the families more than I need you here," Jake replied. If something happens to the bridge crew, you'll need to take care of everyone. Amy nodded and left quickly. Jake watched the tactical display as the protective alien fleet rearranged itself into battle formation. Ships that had fought each other for centuries were now coordinating their movements like they had trained together for years. "Captain," Lisa said from communications, "the Ancient One wants to speak with you privately." "Put him through." The Ancient One's weathered face filled a smaller screen beside Jake's chair. "Captain Martinez, what I am about to tell you must remain between us for now. The Devourers are not just here to feed on your children. They have learned that human children can spread their sense of wonder to others." "What do you mean?" Jake asked quietly. "We have all felt it since arriving here. Your children's questions and curiosity have awakened something in us that we thought was dead. The Devourers want to prevent this awakening from spreading to other species across the galaxy." Jake felt cold fear settle in his stomach. They see the children as a threat to their way of feeding. Exactly. If other species begin to rediscover wonder and curiosity, the Devourers will have nothing left to consume. They must stop this change before it spreads. Dr. Patricia Wells looked up from her science station. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy buildups from all the protective ships. They're charging weapon systems I've never seen before." "How massive?" Jake asked. "Some of these energy readings are off our scales. The Zephyrian crystal ships are resonating at frequencies that could shatter planets. The Karathi biomechanical vessels are generating organic weapons that seem to be alive." Chief Tactical Officer Alex Turner entered the bridge and took his station. "Captain, I've been down in the safe room. The children are handling this amazingly. Well, they're not scared. If anything, they seem excited about what's happening." "Excited?" Jake asked. "Yes, sir." Emma asked if she could watch the battle. "Ben wants to know how alien weapons work. They're treating this like the most interesting thing they've ever seen." Through the communication system, Jake could hear the voices of the children coming from the safe room below. They were asking their parents questions about the different alien ships, wondering about their technologies and imagining what it would be like to visit other worlds. "Captain," the Ancient One said quietly, "do you hear that? Even facing danger, your children's minds are full of questions and possibilities. This is what we are fighting to preserve." Lisa suddenly straightened at her station. "Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from the Devourer fleet. They want to talk." "Put them through," Jake ordered. The main screen filled with something that made Jake's skin crawl. The Devourer looked like it was made of shadow and hunger. Its face was constantly shifting as if it couldn't decide what shape to take. When it spoke, its voice was like whispers from a nightmare. "Human Captain," the Devourer said, "we offer you a choice. Give us the young ones, and we will allow your ship to leave unharmed." "That's not going to happen," Jake replied firmly. "You do not understand what you protect," the Devourer continued. "These young ones carry a disease of thought. They spread questions and wonder wherever they go. If this disease spreads, it will destroy the natural order of the galaxy." "The natural order?" Jake asked. "Species are meant to find their place and stay in it. Workers work, warriors fight, leaders lead. There should be no questions about why or what if. Your young ones make others dream of changing their nature. This cannot be allowed." Jake stood up from his command chair. "You're afraid of curiosity. You're afraid that if other species start asking questions, they might find better ways to live." The Devourer's form shifted angrily. "We are afraid of nothing. We are the end of all things, the consumers of hope and dream. We have fed on the dying wonder of 1,000 worlds. Not today," Jake said, "and not from our children." The Devourer's image flickered. "Then you have chosen destruction. We will take what we want from the ashes of your ship." The transmission ended. Jake looked at the tactical display showing the two fleets facing each other across space. The Devourers were moving into attack formation, while the protective species maintained their defensive positions around the Discovery. "Captain," Ryan reported, "the Ancient One's ship is moving forward. He's positioning himself between us and the Devourers." "He's what?" Jake turned to watch the massive ancient vessel move slowly toward the enemy fleet. The Ancient One's voice came through the communication system. broadcasting to all ships. Devourers of the void, I have lived for 50,000 years. I have seen your kind destroy countless worlds and consume the hopes of entire civilizations. Today, that ends. Captain, Alex called from Tactical, all the protective ships are moving into new positions. The Zephyrians and Karathi are forming a joint attack wing. The Hivari and Nephrim are coordinating their swarm tactics. I've never seen anything like this level of cooperation. Dr. Patricia Wells looked amazed as she studied her sensors. Captain, they're sharing technology in real time. The Hivari are uploading their targeting systems to the Nephrim ships. The crystalline species are harmonizing their energy frequencies with the biomechanical ones. From the safe room below, Jake could hear Ben Cooper's voice over the comm system. Mom, are the good aliens going to protect us? Rachel Cooper's voice answered, Yes, sweetheart. They're going to keep us safe. That's good, Ben replied. I want to thank them after this is over. Maybe we can be friends with all of them. The Ancient One's voice filled the bridge again. Captain, your son has just said something profound. He wants to be friends with aliens he has never met, from species he has never seen. This is the gift your children carry. They see potential friends where others see strangers. Captain, Lisa announced, the Devourer fleet is beginning their attack run. Jake watched as the dark ships accelerated toward them. But instead of fear, he felt something else. He felt pride in his daughter and all the children aboard his ship. They had managed to unite enemies and awaken wonder in species that had forgotten how to dream. All protective ships, Jake broadcast on all frequencies. You are fighting for more than just our children. You are fighting for the right to ask questions, to wonder about possibilities, to see the universe with fresh eyes. The Crystal Zephyrian's musical voice responded, We understand, Captain. We fight for the spark of wonder that your young ones have reignited in us. The biomechanical Karathi added, We fight for the questions we had forgotten how to ask. From dozens of other species came similar responses. They were not just protecting human children, they were protecting the idea that curiosity and wonder were worth preserving. Captain, Ryan announced, the Devourer fleet is in weapons range. All protective ships are ready to engage. Jake looked at the tactical display one more time. Hundreds of ships from dozens of species, natural enemies working together, all united by something as simple as children asking questions about the world around them. All ships, Jake broadcast, defend the wonder. The space around the Discovery erupted, in light as the greatest battle in galactic history began. But this was not a battle for territory or resources. This was a battle for the right to dream, to question, and to see infinite possibilities in the universe. And at the center of it all, 23 human children continued to ask questions and imagine what might be possible, completely unaware that their simple curiosity had started a revolution that would change the galaxy forever. The battle exploded across space in colors Jake had never seen before. Crystal ships fired beams of pure light that sang as they traveled. Biomechanical vessels launched living projectiles that hunted their targets like predators. The insect swarms moved like flowing water, while the gas beings created storms of energy that crackled with electricity. Captain, Ryan shouted over the noise of alarms. The Devourer ships are trying to break through the defensive line. 3 of them are heading straight for us. Jake watched the tactical display as the Ancient One's massive ship moved to intercept the approaching Devourers. The ancient vessel fired weapons that looked like concentrated starlight, each beam turning a Devourer ship into glowing dust. Incredible, Dr. Patricia Wells said from her station. The coordination between the alien species is perfect. They're fighting like they've been allies for centuries. On the main screen, Jake could see Zephyrian crystal ships linking their energy fields with Karathi biovessels. The combined weapons created new types of attacks that neither species could have managed alone. Hivari insect swarms were guided by Nephrim gas beings, creating deadly coordinated strikes. Captain, Lisa called from communications. I'm receiving a transmission from the safe room. The children want to talk to you. Jake activated his communicator. This is the captain. Emma's voice came through clearly. Captain Daddy, we can hear the battle up there. Are our alien friends okay? They're fighting very hard to protect us, sweetheart, Jake replied. Can we help them? asked Ben Cooper's voice. Help them how? Jake asked. I don't know, Ben said. Maybe we could sing for them. When I'm scared, my mom sings to me and it makes me feel better. Jake looked around the bridge. His crew members were staring at him with amazement. Ben, that's a wonderful idea, Jake said. Would you like to sing for all the ships? Yeah, and maybe all the kids can sing together. Amy Foster's voice came through the comm from the safe room. Captain, all the children want to participate. They've chosen a song. Put them through on all frequencies, Jake ordered Lisa. A moment. Later, the voices of 23 human children filled the communication channels of every ship in the battle. They were singing an old Earth song about friendship and helping each other. The melody was simple and sweet, carried by young voices full of hope and joy. The effect was immediate and stunning. Jake watched as alien ships across the battlefield seemed to fight with renewed energy. The crystal beings' lights pulsed brighter. The biomechanical vessels moved faster and more gracefully. Even the ancient ships seemed to respond to the children's voices. Captain, the Ancient One's voice came through the comm. In 50,000 years, I have never heard anything so beautiful. Your young ones are giving us strength we did not know we possessed. Sir, Ryan announced, the Devourer ships are falling back. The combined alien fleet is pushing them away from our position, but even as the protective ships gained ground, Jake could see that the battle was taking its toll. Several alien vessels showed damage, and the Devourers were regrouping for another attack. Captain, Dr. Patricia Wells said urgently, I'm detecting something new. The Devourer ships are combining their energies. They're forming some kind of super weapon. On the screen, Jake watched as the remaining Devourer ships linked together with streams of dark energy. The combined mass began to pulse with a horrible black light. What are they doing? Jake asked. The Ancient One's voice was filled with concern. They are creating a void bomb. It will consume not just your ship, but every trace of wonder and curiosity in this entire star system. Nothing will ever again be able to feel amazement or ask questions. Can our ship stop it? Jake asked. Not with conventional weapons, the Ancient One replied. The void bomb feeds on aggression and violence. The more we attack it, the stronger it becomes. In the safe room below, the children's song continued. Their innocent voices seemed to make the bridge feel warmer and brighter, even as the dark weapon grew larger on the screen. Emma's voice came through the comm again. Captain Daddy, why do the bad ships look so sad? Jake paused. Sad? Yeah. They look like they forgot how to be happy. Maybe they need to remember how to play and ask questions too. Jake stared at the screen showing the growing void bomb. His 7-year-old daughter had just given him an idea that might save them all. Emma, you're absolutely right, Jake said. Lisa, open a channel to the Devourer fleet. Sir? Lisa asked, confused. Trust me on this, Jake replied. The channel opened, and Jake could see the shifting shadow face of the Devourer leader. Devourers, Jake said calmly. My daughter thinks you look sad. She wants to know if you remember what it felt like to wonder about things. The Devourer's form flickered with anger. We do not wonder. We do not question. We consume and end. That is our nature. But was it always your nature? Jake asked. Were you born as Devourers, or did you become this way? For the first time, the Devourer seemed uncertain. Its shifting form slowed slightly. Emma's voice came through the comm again. Mr. Devourer, what did you want to be when you were little? The question hit the alien like a physical blow. Its dark form wavered, and for just a moment Jake thought he saw something else beneath the shadow. Something that might once have been curious and innocent. The Devourer began, then stopped. It's okay, said Ben Cooper's voice. Sometimes, grown-ups forget things from when they were kids, but you can remember if you try. The void bomb began to flicker. Its dark energy was becoming unstable. Captain, the Ancient One said quietly, the children are doing something impossible. They are awakening the buried wonder in the Devourers themselves. Sophie Williams's voice joined the conversation. Do you want to learn about our spaceship? It has really cool engines and we grow food in special rooms. And we have games, added Carlos Mendez. Do you know how to play games? The Devourer leader's form was changing. The shadows were pulling away, revealing something that looked almost like a child's drawing of an alien. Simple, innocent, and full of possibility. Games? The Devourer whispered. I remember games. Before the hunger, before the endless need to consume. We used to play with light and color and sound. You can play again, said Nicole Davis gently. You can ask questions and learn new things. It's never too late to start wondering. The void bomb collapsed completely. The dark energy scattered into harmless sparkles that looked almost like cosmic dust. Around the battlefield, other Devourer ships were beginning to change. Their twisted forms were becoming simpler, cleaner, more like the ships of species that had never forgotten how to dream. This is impossible, whispered Dr. Patricia Wells. The children have converted the Devourers back to their original nature. Captain, the former Devourer leader said, its voice now clear and musical. We remember now. We were the dreamers once, before fear made us forget. Your young ones have given us back our questions. The Ancient One's voice filled the comm system, broadcasting to all ships. Let this day be remembered across the galaxy. The human children have not just been protected. They have shown us that wonder and curiosity can overcome even the darkest corruption. What happens now? Jake asked. Now, said the Crystal Zephyrian, we form the Galactic Protectorate of Wonder, not to protect your children from the galaxy, but to help the galaxy learn from your children. We will end our wars, added the biomechanical Karathi. How can we fight each other when there are so many questions to explore together? Emma's voice came through the comm one more time. Does this mean we can all be friends now? The Ancient One's ancient voice was filled with joy. Yes, young Emma, we can all be friends. And perhaps with your help we can all learn to see the universe with the wonder and curiosity of children once again. Jake looked around his bridge at the crew members who were smiling and wiping tears from their eyes. Outside, hundreds of alien ships from dozens of species were moving into peaceful formations. Former enemies were sending friendship signals to each other. The galaxy was changing, all because 23 human children had asked simple questions and believed that anyone could learn to wonder again. Set course for human space, Jake ordered. I think we have some very important news to share. As the Discovery began its journey home, escorted by the largest peaceful fleet in galactic history, Jake could hear the children in the safe room below asking new questions about their alien friends and planning games they could play together. Galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly the way it should be.